morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on a early Monday morning. Today, we are going to talk about living with Florida's living systems. And Phyllis, thank you so much for inviting us to be here today. And I'm so sorry, but this is going to be an interactive session. So you're all going to have to participate. So I hope you're ready. Do we have to click onto the... Oh, there we are. So my first question for you all is, what comes to mind when I ask you about Florida's environments? Flamingos. I love that. All right. What else do we have? It's hot. Reptiles. Yeah, Jean. Springs. Absolutely. Snakes. Woods. Yes. Trees. Migrators. The Everglades. And I'm sorry? Sunshine. Yes, we have a lot of that, don't we? What else comes to mind when we think about Florida's environments? They are changing. Great. Those are all really good examples of what makes Florida special. So I just pulled a few examples of what comes to mind when I think of Florida. We have the Everglades, we have Paynes Prairie, we have Miami, we have all sorts of really amazing spaces in our state. And so our job as the Thompson Earth Systems Institute is to help people learn about all of these really amazing places that we have in our state so that we can all work together to better protect them. So our mission is to educate and communicate about Earth system science in ways that helps people be better stewards of our planet. Is anybody familiar with TESSI already before this morning? All right. Well, great. So we're excited to introduce you to what we do and how we really help connect people all across the state with the various places that we call home. So for those of you who are not familiar, Earth Systems really looks at air, land, water, life, and how all of those are connected and how we have major influences on all of them. But what makes Florida special? You all listed so many of them. So the fact that we have this really interesting climate, we're right on the edge of the tropics. So it's both tropical and temperate, depending on where you are in Florida. Several of you listed the amazing ecosystems that we have, the Everglades, our pine forests, our palm trees, our flamingos, all of those really great places. And we're home to really rare and iconic species. Can anybody think of any species that are specific and special to Florida? Manatees, absolutely. Limulus lysate, horseshoe crabs. Fantastic. Love those guys. What else? Scrub jays, absolutely. How about our Florida panthers? So we have so many species that really are fantastic to hear. We were talking about migratory birds that fly through here on the Atlantic Flyway. Does anybody have a specific bird you look for every year? Hummingbirds, yeah. Oh, I love those guys. I grew up in Indiana, so they used to fly over us on their way north, but to be somewhere where they hang out all the time is just still amazing to me. What other birds are you all looking for? Snow geese. Maybe they'll bring some cooler weather for us. Anybody else have a favorite bird you look for every year? Ibis, yes, they are fantastic as well. So we are a really special place where we have all of these birds coming and going, some who stay with us for a little while. Florida is also shaped by water and fire. So fire is really important for a lot of our habitats, and water plays such a huge role across our entire state. Our wetlands are so important for storm protection, for water filtration, all sorts of things. And we are also considered a UNESCO biosphere reserve. So the things that we have here are so special that it's protected. But we can, well, it's supposed to be protected. So we work together across the entire lifespan to really try to help connect folks to Florida, what makes it special, and how we can all work together to protect it and make sure that it remains this amazing place that we call home. So today I'm going to share with you the wide range of programs that we do, and then we're going to get up and engage in some of the programs so you can see for yourself. So one of our biggest programs is called the Scientists in Every Florida School. And how we run this program, teachers come to us and say, I really need somebody who can teach my students about sandhill cranes. And so we go through our list of folks that we know. We have over 1,000 scientists from 10 universities that work with us in this program. And we say, hey, friend, you study sandhill cranes. Are you available to go meet with this class and not only teach them about sandhill cranes, but also careers? How did you become a scientist? How might we excite these students into wanting to become scientists? We do this both in person and also virtually. So since 2020, a lot of our programs have been virtual. But we also know that our teachers need support. So we work really hard to make sure that we are helping teachers to grow their own scientific knowledge. So we have a series of teacher professional development programs that they come to campus and get to learn about the really amazing research that folks are doing. So for example, this last summer, we did our second year of a teacher workshop in our fish collection. So they actually got to help work with our scientists and help protect our collection. How many of you know that our collections are in 2 different buildings across campus? Great. Well, now we're in 3 because our Dickinson, the older building that looks like the mound from the street and a Mayan pyramid from the back, was highly explosive. It was full of alcohol. So we actually have a brand new building where all of those jars of organisms in alcohol got moved across campus. Would any of you like to have driven that truck across campus? So it was a huge project, and we got this amazing grant to not only move the fish collection, but also reclassify it and reorganize it. So typically, all of our collections are by genus and species, which is great until something gets reclassified and then you have to move it, or you have a new sample and you have to find room for it. So we've actually redone that collection. So it's by size. So all the big jars are on one shelf and all the tiny little jars are on a different shelf. And we have barcodes. So that way we can just scan everything and we know where everything is. We don't have to reshuffle if some species gets a new name. And our teachers got to come work in the collection, and they got to take a fish out of one jar and put it in a new jar. They got to help identify what they were. They got to digitize them. So to help us take 3D images so we can do research. And they actually got to take those images back to their classrooms. And we worked with them over the course of the summer to think about how can we use museum collections to teach the nature of science for elementary school students. And they loved it. We even sent them home with their own little mini collections. So it's a really amazing time, not only for our educators, but for us and our scientists, because they learn how to better communicate with teachers, and the teachers get to come and feel like expert scientists. And we had 3 teachers from the previous year apply to come back. So 30% of our teachers had such a great time, they wanted to do it again. We also do live streams. So actually this week we have one on aquaculture as a way to restore habitats. So if you all are interested, you can go to our website and watch. It's in partnership with the Anjari Foundation. So we work to do really great live stream programs. And then we do a lot of virtual field trips. So our numbers here are for our first 5 years, but this year we actually hit our 5,000th visit to Florida schools, and we have served more than 170,000 students across the state. And a lot of those are in Title I schools, which means a large proportion of the students have free or reduced lunch. So we really make sure to take our resources to schools where they may not otherwise have access to these kinds of programs. So our text is covering things up, but we've had probably closer to 300 teachers in teacher workshops, and we've had something like 25 on-campus teacher workshops. So we're really excited about this program. And, oh, perfect. Thank you. So in our first 5 years, we had 16 workshops. So I think we're close to maybe 20, 25 now. So our Scientists in Every Florida Schools program. So if you too identify as a scientist, let us know and we can connect you with some schools as well. All right. There we go. We also do a lot of really great public program. Did I miss a slide? Nope. Okay. Just making sure I didn't click too far. We do a lot of really great public programming. So making sure that we are taking the research that's happening on campus into our communities. So Carla is here with us today. She is our communications manager, and she really helps us to run a lot of these different programs. And so we have a whole series of social media and newsletters that you can follow. I really love the Know Your Florida Instagram. So if any of you are on Instagram, we have about 1,000 people move to Florida every day, and most of them know nothing about what makes Florida special. So Know Your Florida is a really great way to learn about the plants and the animals and the places and spaces that make Florida just really fantastic. We do a monthly Earth to Florida newsletter, so that way we can showcase what's happening in the news. And the way our team puts this together is it's what's happening, why does this matter, and what can you do about it? We're not going to leave you hanging that, oh my goodness, something's taking place without helping us think about, well, how can we come together to make that better? And what's really amazing about the Earth to Florida newsletter, it's student driven. So it's written by our students that come to work with us as communications interns, and the content is really fantastic. And we do a whole wide range of those. We have a YouTube channel, so if you want to learn more about different things happening related to the environment, you can check that out. And then we have another Thompson Earth Sciences Institute Instagram that you can join as well. So this is a way to help us reach folks that aren't here in the local community. But one of our favorite programs up on top here is our Science on Tap program. Has anybody attended one of those with us? Great. So our most recent one was on Florida's waters. So we had Lake Watch. Is anybody familiar with that organization? They're a community science organization that helps people monitor the health of the lakes where they live across Florida. And they came and gave a phenomenal talk for us about why Lake Watch is important and how you can be involved in protecting Florida's waters. In February, we're going to have one all about why you should love Florida's frogs. So you'll have another opportunity in the spring. And we'll have organizations join us like Frog Watch and the Fish and Wildlife, and really just bringing together community organizations to go out into the community to showcase what's going on, what's the science, why do we care, how to take care of these places. So we do a lot of public engagement as well. One of our biggest programs is what we call our Environmental Leaders Program. So we are working to prepare the next generation of folks who are really going to lead the way here in Florida to make sure that we are caring for our places and spaces that we love. So we have several programs that fall under this umbrella. Our first that I mentioned already is our Environmental Leaders Internship. So students come to us and they actually get trained on how to write news stories, how to do social media, and how to really showcase their science to the public in a way that makes it understandable and that helps us to care about it. In that internship, we have students anywhere from undergrads through grad students, and we really love working with these students. And almost, I think we've had 25 go through, and a large number of them have actually gotten jobs in science communication. And so the training that they have with us actually helps them to go off and get careers. Another program we do, and the Environmental Leaders Internship is really fun because we partner with other organizations to sponsor our students. So this year we're working with the UF Water Institute and the Biodiversity Institute and the Randall Research Center down in South Florida. We also have the Environmental Leaders Fellowship, which brings together small cohorts of students, and they get to do field experiences, mentorship opportunities. They get to do hands-on projects and really just take a deep dive into some topic. And so this semester, we are thinking about how do we connect people to Florida through camera traps. Has anybody used a camera trap before to see what's hanging out in your backyard? Yeah, they're really amazing, and they can capture all sorts of images of things that you just had no clue were living in your backyard. And the problem is they take a lot of pictures. So it's really easy to get backed up. So we are working with a scientist to help go through some of their backlog, and the students actually got to go help put up webcam, or I keep saying webcams, trail cams, and they are going to be able to see what they've captured and really learn more about what lives here in our community, because we're seeing what's happening behind the scenes when nobody's around. So they will then put together a story for our newsletter about the really amazing organisms that live here in Alachua County. And we love that program, but we realized we can only serve about 10 students a semester. And there are a lot of students on our campus. So we have now created what we call the Environmental Leaders Network. So our students in our fellowship told us, I don't know how to access all of these resources on campus. And there are a lot of resources. So we have a graduate assistant who actually pulls together all of the environmental related opportunities on campus. And we send out a twice monthly email with jobs and internships and seminars and all sorts of really great opportunities. And we have a 50% open rate, which for undergrads, I'm told is like amazing. So they actually read it and they find these opportunities, and we really help connect them to just all the great stuff that is already happening on campus without us having to try to recreate the wheel, because it's already taking place. So our undergrad and grad programs, taking care of our planet, it's all hands on deck. So we got to bring everybody together. And this is a way to really get folks excited about taking on these roles as they move forward. And then as we are here at a university, we also help a lot with broader impacts and outreach. So traditionally, grants have a requirement of sharing your research with the public. And so our team actually partners with scientists across campus to help them think about how to take their work and get it out into the public in ways that are meaningful. So as I mentioned, we do a lot with K-12 students. So that summer teacher workshops, that was paid for by a grant. We really use these opportunities to engage students in research labs and teachers in research labs. So rather than coming to hang out with us in the collections, we have a new grant where teachers are actually going to work in some of the labs on campus. And then we will come together to talk about how to better share that. We also do a lot of lifelong learning programs like this and our Science on Tap. And then we also host communications research training for a lot of our scientists on campus. So in our first 5 years, we helped bring in $23 million in federal funding to the university by supporting these broader impacts projects. So we really love the opportunity. I believe we have partnerships in 9 colleges on campus that we've been funded with. So it's great for us because we get to learn all the fun research they're doing and hang out with some really cool folks. So what we are gonna do now is get you up out of your seats because it's Monday and we don't wanna sit around all day. So we are going to engage in some outreach. So with me today, we have Elle, who is our project manager for our fellowship this semester. And we have Max, who's one of our fellows. And they are going to share with you some of the tabling and outreach activities that we do. We have one that's all about springs, because we have a grant right now to share all things springs with the UF community. And then we've got some other fun Florida-centric items with Elle. And for our folks online, we did not forget about you. We are going to do some trivia with our online folks. So if you finish up at the tables, you're welcome to join us for trivia as well. This is something that we do at a lot of our programming. And in fact, on the 23rd, we will be at First Magnitude for Bones, Bugs, and Brews. Is that the right order? Bugs, Bones? Bugs, bones. There will be bugs, there will be bones, and there will be beer, whatever order it goes in. And we will be there doing some spooky Halloween trivia as part of the beer release that supports the museum. So I would love to encourage you all to get up and chat with our folks in the back. And for those of you online, Carla is going to come lead you through some trivia.
Hello. For those of you online, and we're going to do trivia time. Everything's on the screen, so if you can't hear me too well, that I have it all written out. But you will need a piece of paper and a writing instrument, unless you have a great memory. I don't, so maybe you do. I'll read out questions and we'll take answers at the end. So give yourself 1 point for each question, and whoever has the highest score is winning bragging rights. We do have some tiebreaker questions if needed. So let's get started. Okay, also known as the cabbage palm, this palm is Florida's official state tree. But is it actually a tree? Good at trivia. Okay, we'll go on to question number 2. Maybe. Okay. This commonly misunderstood mammal who plays dead out of self-defense is the only marsupial that currently lives in, I can't read that, in America, including Florida. North America, there we go, including Florida. I'm guessing no. Okay, question number 3. Use the clicker. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Which state has the largest concentration of freshwater springs on Earth? Okay, question number 4. I want to do the clicker again. Sorry. Doesn't want to do the clicker again. Oh, yeah. It's all right. There we go. Okay. What is the smallest rattlesnake species in Florida that blends perfectly with pine needle ground cover? Okay, and question number 5. All right, one more time. There we go. What is the largest predatory snail in North America? It can grow up to 24 inches. Okay, and just so you know, all of these are things you can find and learn about on our Know Your Florida Instagram. every single one of these questions came from one of our posts in the past. These are the types of things we like to teach. So yeah, we're going to go through and find some answers. Okay, again, also known as the cabbage palm. This palm is Florida's official state tree, but is it actually a tree? And the answer is the sable palm. And question number 2 was, this commonly misunderstood mammal who plays dead in self-defense is the only marsupial that currently lives in North America, including Florida. And the answer there was Virginia possum. We'll take possum. If you say possum, that's okay. And number 3, which U.S. state has the largest concentration of freshwater springs on Earth? And that is Florida. For sure, everyone probably got that one. Question number 4. What is the smallest rattlesnake species in Florida that blends perfectly with pine needle ground cover? That is the pygmy rattlesnake or dusky rattlesnake. Smallest and pygmy was your hint there. And number 5, what is the largest predatory snail in North America? It can grow up to 24 inches. That is the horse conch. I was supposed to, yeah. Learning something every day. And now we do have 2 other questions. If we don't have a tie, we'll just go ahead and do that just to play along. Okay. What native Florida frog gets its name from its call, which sounds like a squirrel? And this federally managed forest houses the largest current population of Florida scrub jays, a blue-gray bird found only in Florida and nowhere else. So we'll do the answer for question 1 about the frog that sounds like a squirrel. Squirrel tree frog. It's a very creative name. And the federally managed forest is the Ocala National Forest. So I'll let you guys calculate your scores and feel free to brag in the chat or share your scores in the chat. We'll see how we did. Thank you so much for playing trivia. All right, if y'all would like to finish up your tabling activities, we'll finish up with Dr. Ennes back up here.
Well, I hope everybody online got all of those trivia questions. And if you have any questions about our springs or the Florida animals that we were sharing here, as Carla mentioned, you can find that on our website and in some of our feature stories online. So really, I just wanted us thinking today about just what makes Florida so special, and that it's not only important for the animals that live there, but also for our own health and well-being. So Tessie is here to help us think about how we can work together to improve and protect and celebrate all of these species that live here in Florida. And if you want to learn more about what we do, here's all the places you can find us. Go.ufl.edu/Tessie is our main website. We have both Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find our newsletter there. And if you're able to move where the words are, that QR code will take you to sign up for our newsletter. And you can find all things Tessie there. I think that's my last slide. So now we have time for questions. Yes.
Portion of your funding is federal versus state versus private?
Sure. So Tessie was founded on a private gift to the museum. So we are an endowed institute on campus, and we do have some support from grants through the broader impacts that we help with on other people's projects, as well as some of our own. So our fellowship that we are funding this semester. I have a grant through the National Academy of Sciences that is funding that project there. So the primary source of funding for us is an endowment.
Thank you.
Any other questions in the room?
Ooh, and I can be PBS and from supporters like you.
Any questions online?
Pam, we had somebody in the back there.
Oh. It's okay.
As a student here at UF and living back here in my home county, I would like to have seen a map of UF to show me where all of your buildings are.
Oh, for the museum, absolutely. So are you familiar with where the public museum is? The Butterfly Rainforest building? Okay. Okay, so we, our team is located over by the Performing Arts, the Cultural Arts Plaza. So it's the Harn, our museum, and then the Phillips Center. And between the Phillips Performing Arts Center and our museum is our new wet collections building. So it's kind of hidden behind us because it's not intended to be public facing. And then our original building is over on Museum Road, across from the police department, sort of by the Rights Union. So there's the Rights Union, the new Malachowski Hall, and we're like 2 buildings over. We're the one that looks like a big grassy hill. We had goats on our roof for a while. So if you saw that in the news, we had some goats that took up residence on our roof. So we're spread out across campus.
But however, the main public building is under some renovation now, and I think it's going to be closed for about another 18 months.
Next fall, we're planning for reopening.
Okay, so that's the sad part of a part of this, but they are seeking to have their collections in the same building. Is that my understanding?
We are putting a whole new exhibit on the front of the building so that we can better connect folks to the research and collections, and what's going in is still kind of to be determined, and it'll be changeable and all of that sort of stuff. We'll have a brand new gift shop. We're renovating our classrooms so that way we can do more programming for folks of all ages, and our temporary exhibit is getting a major overhaul as well. So the last exhibit that was in there was it the insects? The incredible insects that was in there, where you could meet our scientists and learn about the research that's happening on campus. And so I don't know what our first one will be when we reopen, but we're just really going to have much more open space and places to come learn about Florida's natural history.
We have a question online also.
Great.
Diane, go ahead. There you go.
So, hi, Diane. If you want to unmute, I think they've given you permission to talk. Oop. Oh, hi, Diane.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Your first question was about the sable palm.
Oh.
Is that a tree? And you never answered that question. You just said the palmetto was a sable palm. So I don't think that palms are trees. Can you go into that a little further?
I think they're classified as grasses. It is considered the state tree, but folks disagree as to whether it's a tree.
Yeah, and I believe that the palms are more like lilies in the way they grow, but you need to sort of clarify that and answer that question, if you would.
Thank you, Diane. We will keep that in mind for our next round of trivia.
I think
Okay.
that just goes to show that we need to have an ILR program on botany.
Yes, yes, it sounds like it. The other thing that I noticed, the last slide that you had showed the panther, the Florida panther, and the Nature Conservancy now has a big program on trying to save the panthers and their paths that they use. So that would open up another whole topic, I think, about those panthers and what the Nature Conservancy is doing to save them.
And that is the wonderful thing about our institute is we are not a research institute. Our job is to help places like the Nature Conservancy share their work with the public. So we have a lot of partners and mostly they come to us wanting us to help showcase their work. And so absolutely, that's a group we have worked with for some of our events, but I think we have yet to do any feature stories. Oh, we had a panther one because the museum actually has a really important collection on Florida panthers that has helped us to learn more about their diet and where are they moving through the state. And so our mammals curator and his team really do a lot of thinking about the Florida panther and how museums can contribute to conservation.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Diane. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah.
A number of universities have natural history museums around the country. Harvard probably comes to mind first, but I think University of Chicago and a number of state universities as well. Is there an organization in which you can trade, swap collections for demonstration and really expand the access to the people in your?
Yeah, and so our collections, many of the museums do exchange, and I have to brag on our museum. We are actually the largest university museum in the nation based on number of objects, and so they do exchange with folks frequently. We also lead a program called I Dig Bio, where we have been digitizing not all of our collections because it's going to take a long time, but we are leading the way in digitizing collections. So even if we can't physically send something somewhere, you can access it online and it's got 3-dimensional, you can move it around. Some we do really cool scanning so you can see the insides of the specimens without having to do any damage to, cut it open or things like that. So our museum with many partners is working to make sure that our collections are accessible broadly.
I heard Doug Jones, the former director of the museum, now retired, say that this museum has the largest collection of any university-based museum. Yeah, and every city that I go to their natural history museum if they have one. Just happened to be in the same town as the University of Oklahoma. I thought, Oklahoma. Yeah. But I went to see it. It was amazing. Their displays, because Oklahoma is another dinosaur fossil area, and they had wonderful dioramas, really, really excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Florida plants need somebody so the Oklahoma people can come and look at those. And that's kind of my question.
Yeah, and we do have visiting scholars that come frequently to work in our collection. So even if they can't take it back to where they are, we often have folks that come work, say, in our McGuire Center. So we have one of the largest butterfly and moth collections in the nation. So we have a lot of folks that come to work in that space. So yeah, all of our collections are known to have visitors, even if we can't send specific specimens to them.
Any other questions online? Nope. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all. We appreciate your time this morning, and Ellen Max will be in the back. So if you had one more burning question you wanted to ask them, feel free. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Monday.